Preparation of income statement. I think I came and discussed this aspect also. What are the different line items that we talk about in a P&L? Then statement of changes in stockholders equity. Stockholders equity andre ಏನು? Since you are here, you will be answering all my questions. What is stockholders equity?
Stockholders will be holding
The
shares
shares, yes. What?
shares of the company.
Mainly we are talking about equity share capital here. Correct? Apart from that, whatever equity share capital holders are entitled to, they are entitled to profits, dividends, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲಿರುತ್ತೆ? We have heard and maintained something called as reserves and surplus. What is it called here in US GAAP? What is it called? M. M ಇಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಹೆಸರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. What is the, what do you call reserves and surplus in US GAAP? No, no. Come on, yeah. Who will tell me here? I'm sure retained earnings. See? Yes, Mary, you will get it next week. Since you did not come here, next week. Yes, retained earnings. They are all right. So, reserves and surplus in US GAAP, you call it retained earnings. Got it? In India, we call it reserves and surplus. In US, you call it retained earnings. Okay. So all of that we are going to be discussing here in this particular statement. Is the format ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ how it looks like. So this is what? This is my equity share capital. Equity share capital na we say common stock. What do you call preference share capital? ಈಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಅವರು 4 ಜನ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. You sit with those guys, no, and you don't concentrate. That's the problem. What is preference share capital called? What is it called in here? Common stock is what we call it for equity share capital. What is preference share capital? Very good, very good. Preference share capital is called. See, now I click this screen and I'll have the answer. See, Manish. See that? What is it? I think I told this like n number of times. This is my 5th class, if I'm not wrong. Yes? So, 5th class ali, equity stock is common stock. Preference share capital is called as preferred stock. Okay? Don't confuse yourselves. So, here in the statement of changes in equity, we are talking about the split or what are the common things which an equity shareholder is entitled to receive. Okay? It can be a equity, of course, his own money, which is equity share capital. If you are my equity shareholder, one, I have to return you your money that you have invested with me. Second, you also get right on my retained earnings. ಹಂಗಂತ ಫುಲ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ obviously. How much at, okay, what is equity shareholder entitled to at the time of liquidation? Liquidation is what? Dissolution of the company. If you know, equity shareholders don't get their money back till the company is alive. A company ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೋ equity shareholders ಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ preference shareholders ಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. In India, preference shares are issued for 20 years. So in the year 2004, if I have issued a preference share, by 2024 I have to repay them. That's the law. Whereas equity share ಗೆ ಅದರ ಯಾವ ಲಾನು ಇಲ್ಲ. If I issue in 2000, even if it is 2050, 2060, even 2000, okay, there is no repayment of equity shares if the company is alive. So what are they entitled to? What I'm telling you is when the company dissolutes or on liquidation, ಕಂಪನಿ ಹತ್ರ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟೀಸು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಉಳಿಯುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, that money equity shareholders are entitled. ಆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಯಾರ ಕೈಗೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್. ಪ್ರಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, because they have anyway have a law protecting them which wants them to pay back after 20 years ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಆದರೆ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್, ಕಂಪನಿ ಹತ್ರ ಏನಾರ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ದುಡ್ಡು ಉಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಟು equity shareholders. Okay, that is why when we prepare statement of changes on stockholders equity, we prepare one ಅವ್ರದೇ ದುಡ್ಡಿದು ಕಾಮನ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಶೇರ್ ಇಕ್ವಿಟಿ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್, ರಿಟೈನ್ಡ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಟೈನ್ಡ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್? ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಇಯರ್ ಒನ್ ನಾನು ಏನೇ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ನ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಐ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ರಿಟೈನ್ಡ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್. In Indian IGAP, what I call it, reserves and surplus. Alva? Illi retained earning anthini, but it is a place where I save all my past profits. That's it. Nothing else. You have to, in statement of equity, you have to show common stock, retained earnings, and of course, issue ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಿತ್ತು balance, then net income ಏನು, dividend ಏನು for the year, and finally you have the closing balances. Fine. Oh, sorry. Any doubt, guys? Manish, Mary, Kala? No, ma'am. Very good. Next. Next, we come to balance sheet. Balance sheet, I discussed already. If you guys remember, I spoke about current asset, I spoke about current liability and all yesterday. But what is this? This is just a specimen.
No, this is different.
4.3?
Yeah.
Show me. Show me your book.
I mean, yesterday you taught this one, explanation.
ಚೆಕ್ ಫಾರ್ 4.3 ಏನು.
Yeah, this same.
ಅದನ್ನ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್. ಅಗೇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಶೋಸ್ ಯು ಹೌ ಯು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಅ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದು ಟಿ ಬಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ,
Yes.
ಆ ಟಿ ಬಿನ ಇವರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲೋಯ್ತು ಟಿ
ಅದು
ಇದಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟಿ ಬಿ. ಹೌದು, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟಿ ಬಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಇದು ಟಿ ಬಿ. ಈ ಟಿ ಬಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದಾನೇ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಈಕ್ವಿಟಿ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಸಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಬುಕ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, now let's come to cash flow statement. What is a cash flow statement? ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿ. What is the difference between cash flow and profit and loss account? Profit and loss account prepare ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ why do I have to prepare cash flow? What is the need? Let me check with others also. Why? What is the difference between a cash flow statement and a profit and loss account? Tell me, come on.
cash.
Where? You will not get that in a P&L account? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ವಾ?
Invest ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ
ಏನು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು?
ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದೆಯಾ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಾಸ್.
Money inflow and outflow. Okay. No, what I'm asking you is P&L ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ವಾ? Money inflow and outflow. P&L ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ವಾ? P&L ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Then what is the point in preparing a cash flow statement? To see inflow and outflow of cash from various activities. Okay, I take that point. And what are those various activities, Manish? Different activities.
Purchasing of
Operating, finance, one more. Three are there. Third one, Don't know? Investing activity. The third one is investing. So you have operating, investing, and finance. Yes, sir. ಇವತ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ front of me. It's like you're sitting like one deer, and I'm going to attack you with all the question. ಜಿಂಕೆ ಮರಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ದೀರ. Okay, I'll attack you and drill you with all the questions. Huh? Tell me, why should I prepare profit and loss? No, why should I prepare cash flow when I already have a profit and loss? From next time, you think I'm not good at the academy. Tell, what is the need? You're telling PNL will already show me cash flow, inflow. Credit to debit ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, outflow ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ, inflow ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ cash flow ಯಾಕೆ prepare ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? What is the need?
ಅದು ಕಂಪನಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್.
ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಕಂಪನಿಗಲ್ವಾ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಸ್ವಂತಕ್ಕ?
ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್.
ವಾಟ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್?
ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಇದಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ?
ಪೇಡ್
ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋನೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ
ಕಂಪನಿ
PNL ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತಾ?
ಹಾ.
PNL ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋಲು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. It's not for any specific purpose that we are preparing. Okay, I have a simple question to ask. Now, if I say, okay, let me come back to my main document. If I say my profit, what? Profit in the PNL, in PNL is say 1 lakh rupees. Right? Does that mean my cash on hand or cash at bank, both put together? Don't confuse that, ma'am, bank ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಎರಡೂ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆನೂ ಸಹ I am telling, will that also be equal to 1 lakh? My question is for all. If I say I have profit of 1 lakh rupees, does that mean my cash on hand and cash at bank I have 1 lakh rupees? Is it true? Answer to me in true or false. If I say I have a profit of 1 lakh rupees, does that mean cash on hand and cash at bank is 1 lakh rupees? Since I got no response from here, did you at least understand my question, others? You are saying true. What are you saying there? False. Why false?
Because if you get the profit, you should give it to any dates will be shared.
Dates?
Dates for
No. ಆ ಲೆವೆಲ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. I'm just telling you. Profit ಇದ್ರೆ bank PNL ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 lakh. Does that mean I have cash on my hand and at bank put together 1 lakh rupees? So you are saying true, correct? Now stick to that. What about others? Are you all there? Manish, Mary, Kala, Chaturya, Chatura. False. Why, Mary? Why false? What is the reason to say that it is a false item? She's taking some time to type, I guess. No? I wish you could, speak on the online class also. I could see your face. That would have been better. Huh?
Microsoft or Zoom.
Yeah. Zoom was also better, but I don't know. Anyway, Mary is to some extent correct, because profit, if it is 1 lakh, does not mean that my cash on hand and cash at bank is 1 lakh. No. Why? Because if I have to give you an example, if I got a profit of 1 lakh, suppose this is after depreciation. Depreciation, if I have charged say 40,000, ಸೊ ಈ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ 1 lakh ಬಂದಿದೆ.
Okay.
ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ಈಸ್ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್? ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಏನೂ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ನಿಯರ್ ಬುಕ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ, right? You are setting aside some profit for some future requirement, but that does not mean none cash. Assume there is one cash box ಅಥವಾ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ, ಎರಡಿಂದಲೂ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಒನ್ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಈ ತರ ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ ಯೋರ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡೌಟ್ಫುಲ್ ಡೆಟ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್, ಏನೇ ನೀವು ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಆ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ನಿಯರ್ ಬುಕ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು? ದೇರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯೋರ್ ನಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಡೆಬಿಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್. So to that okay, let me have an example here. So that means if say I have a provision of 20,000. So ಇವೆರಡನ್ನ ಡಿಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ 1 lakh ಅಂತ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. So simply to say, don't you think cash on hand will be 1 lakh plus depreciation, because depreciation and cash ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಪಾಕೆಟ್ ಇಂದ ದುಡ್ಡು ಏನು ಹೊರಗೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So as is, don't you think I should add back 40? Because if I have to determine ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ನನ್ನ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ, ನಾನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್ ನಾನು ವಾಪಸ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು ತಾನೆ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ಗೆ, ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮೈ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ. ಡೆಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಂದ ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್, ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅ ಬುಕ್ ಎಂಟ್ರಿ. ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ಒಂಚೂರು ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಆಡ್ ಅನದರ್ 20. ಓಕೆ, so therefore don't you think now cash on hand is 1,60,000 whereas my P&L profit is 1 lakh? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಆದರೂ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಓಕೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಸೇ ಇಸ್, P&L ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರ ತುಂಬಾ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬುಕ್ ಎಂಟ್ರೀಸ್. ಆ ಎಂಟ್ರಿಯಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಗಾಗಲಿ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ಗಾಗಲಿ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದೋಸ್ and add them back so that you get cash flow on hand. How about others here? Do you have doubt here, my online friends? Did you understand my example of profit in P&L 1 lakh? No ma'am. Why?
Yes, no doubt.
Yes ma'am. What is no ma'am, yes ma'am? Did you understand or you did not understand? You have to tell me that first. I should keep looking here. I keep looking there actually. Ma'am, I understood. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's read what they have given over there. Okay. Statement of cash flow, which is covered in detail in the next module, explains the change in the cash during the period. Change in the cash, your cash position. Hey, move ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ business ಅಲ್ಲಿ cash. 3 main sections which I have already discussed with Manish, obviously, because he gave me the answer. The main sections are, one is operating. Operating ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ನಿಮ್ದು ಏನೇ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ಅದರಿಂದ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ದ ಮೇನ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಐ ರನ್ ಅ ಕಾರ್ ಶೋರೂಮ್. Okay, whatever cash inflows I get from running, buying and selling of cars, that comes under operating activity. Okay, secondly is investing. Investing means what? Whatever money I'm making from buying and selling of cars, I'm investing in one mutual fund or investing in some shares. Now that is not my main business. I'm just investing because I want to make extra money. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ನನಗೆ. So I'm investing in some in instruments, be it shares or it can be even property. Property also people buy as an investment. So itara gold, right? So if I am making any, if there are any cash inflows and outflow based on my investing activity, then that will be coming under the head investing. cash from investing activity. Then you have financing. Financing means what? If you are lending a loan to your friend, that's called as financing activity. You're lending money or taking money. Adu barutte. Okay. Financing andre other artha. Finance companies means what? Their job is to lend money and get the money back. That's the meaning of the term financing. So if company is taking loan from someone or giving loan to someone, because of that giving and taking of loan, don't you think there is a cash inflow and cash outflow which happened? That comes under the category of financing. Okay, so my cash flows are mainly divided into three categories: operating, investing, and financing. And these three categories, we write it like this over here. First, what they are telling, P&L ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ಕೋತೀವಿ. ನೆಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ P&L ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ, ಫಾರ್ ಮೀ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಮೈ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನೆಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ in my P&L. So I write that here 3668 is my profit from the P&L. Add back non-cash items. I discussed no. Whatever are my non-cash items. Depreciation is one such example. Or adunu bardidaralli. And also your provisions. Wherever there is no cash outflow, adu nimma P&L ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. And then we have to observe the changes in the current assets and liabilities. Should I teach cash flow here in detail? Separate unit is ಅಂದ್ರಲ್ವಾ? ಇದೆಯಾ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? See, we have next chapter is full of cash flow statement. I will do in much detail over here because I should teach in detail what are the components. See, look here. Components of cash flow, classification, operating activity, ಎಲ್ಲ detail ಆಗಿ I'm anyway going to discuss in the next unit itself. Okay, don't worry. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಒಂದ್ಸಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. Because you might wonder why did she skip? Why didn't she tell me the meaning? Because I'm going to discuss in the next chapter anyway in detail. Okay, because we have to also see changes in current assets and current liability. That means what? In the beginning, my debtor balance, I'm still giving you example. Let's see. At any point you feel like now I have to walk out, breathe and come back, you can go. No problem. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. But go and come. Don't sleep in front of me because you are the only student right now. That is totally a demotivation. Go and come. No problem. Okay? I'll be telling them about this. Changes in current assets and liabilities. So, if I have to give you guys the example of changes in current assets and liability, it means what? Say in the beginning of the year, the opening balance of debtors was 10,000 rupees. Okay. And the closing balance became, I'm talking about changes in current assets and liability. I'm giving you an example. If you're wondering where did I go suddenly to, I'm telling you how this affects my cash flow position. So if my opening balance is 10,000 and suppose my closing balance is 20, right? What does this mean? During the year, my debtors increased. That's the meaning. Opening balance was 10,000 and the closing balance came to 20,000. It simply means that my debtor balance went up. Debtors are who? Debtors are the people who have to pay you the money. Correct? So that means during the year there is absolutely no cash inflow to you. No inflow of cash from debtors. Yes? See, don't worry even if you don't understand. Like I told you, I am going to take up it in much more detail in the next unit itself. So I don't intend to teach you in detail over here. I'm just giving you a small trailer. Like I said, before the main movie, a small trailer I'm going to present to you here. So just pay attention, okay? So it simply means that my debtor balance went up. Debtor balance went up means the people who had to pay me money did not pay at all. Okay, so that means to say there is no inflow of money from the debtors. Got my point? But here it looks like there is a ulta. The example that they have given in the problem is ulta. That is, my opening balance was 20,000 and my closing balance has become 10,000. What does this mean? It simply means that when I started off the year, 20,000 debtors were supposed to pay me. Out of them, 10,000 have already paid me. Yes? Don't you think it is my cash inflow? CIF? CIF is something else, but it is simply your inflow. Yeah. Let me come to you and check if you guys have any doubt here. Did you understand my example of movement of debtors? That is, in the beginning of the year, my balance was 20,000. By the end of the year, it came to 10,000. What does it mean? 20,000 debtors were supposed to pay me. But by the end of the year, when the balance is come and sitting at 10,000, it simply means that out of 20,000, 10,000 people have paid me. So that's why my debtor balance has reduced. They have paid me, it means there is a cash inflow. Yes, agree with me? Any doubts, guys? My objective is to tell you why we see changes in the current assets and current liability, because it is only these current assets and current liabilities where cash impacts is the maximum in the year. You will see a lot of cash impact happening in the current asset and current liability section, whereas non-current assets and liability, no much of impact. That's why our main focus is always on the current assets and current liability when we are preparing the cash flow statement. Now, so okay, great. If you understood, that's brilliant. You have a doubt, please raise. Now come similarly to increase in prepaid insurance. What does that mean? Prepaid insurance means what? I have to pay insurance for standing today in 2024, pay off in 2025. 2025 to katta hai din naani. So let me say like this. So prepaid insurance, I had an opening balance of 30,000. Closing balance came to say 50,000. What does this mean? ನಾನು ಈ ವರ್ಷನೂ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಪ್ರೀಪೇಡ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್. That's why prepaid insurance, if has gone up, it means it is outflow of cash. That means my expense for prepaid insurance has led to a cash outflow during the year. So it simply means that I can't take it as an income, it is my expenditure. So here I will write 20,000 negative. Negative means cash outflow. Okay. Let me now come to supplies. Or let's, before going to supply, let's go to accounts payable. Similar example, like the way I told about debtors, now let me tell you about creditors. Account payable means creditors only. So the opening balance say was 25,000. Closing balance became 15,000. What does this mean? In the beginning of the year, creditor means are the people to whom I have to pay money. ಆಯ್ತಾ? By closing balance, if it is come down to 15,000 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? 10,000 I have paid. ಅದೇ ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? So I have to pay another 15,000 to them. That is a meaning. So if I have already paid, that means that also signifies what? outflow of cash. Yes, outflow of cash. Alva? So decrease in accounts payable means outflow of cash. So in my example, again I have to take 10,000 negative. Okay. So that's account payable for me. Next, let me go to wage payable. What is wage payable? It's my expenditure. Okay. Outstanding wages ana artha baratte. So if opening balance of that was say 10,000, closing balance became 15,000, means what? Now pay money. You are my employee. Last year balance I had to pay you was 10. Ee varsha I had to pay you 5. I'm not paid. So the balance has gone up to 15. What does it mean? I'm buying time from you, but I'm not paying you. So that means that increase in wage payable is like an opportunity that I have saved money. Saved money ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ನಾನು ದುಡ್ಡೇ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ.
But it's
But it's I want okay. If I use the word save is wrong, ನಿಮಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ my cash balance is ಹಂಗೆ intact ಆಗಿ ಕೂತಿದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? So it's as good as not paying is as good as earning the money. ಆ ಥರ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? Why? Because we have to consider 5,000 positive. Somewhat, okay. Somewhat ಅಂತಾನೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಪೇಮೆಂಟೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವೈ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ ಯು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅದೇ ಈ ದುಡ್ಡು ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದನ್ನ ನಾನು ಆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಎಫ್ ಡಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಯು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಐ ಲರ್ನ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್? ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆಯ್ತಾ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮನಿ ಆನ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಆಸ್ ನಾನು ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದು ಒಂಥರ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ನನಗೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಐಟಮ್. ಲೆಟ್ ಮೀ ಸಿ because I'm with your expression I still feel you're a little confused. What about others? Did you understand my explanation for increase in wage payable? Understood, ma'am. Manish, great. How about the others? Mary, Kala. Yes. Okay, okay, ma'am. So let me repeat then. How about you? Nimdu okay, okay, na scene alva. Yours is also okay, okay scene only. Or you tell me ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತು ಬಟ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು
ಯಾಕೆ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಯು ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಮೀ ಮನಿ. ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ 2 lakhs ಐ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಯು ಲೋನ್. ಯು ಡಿಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಪೇ ಮೀ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಯೋರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಇಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್, ನೋ? Because you've not paid me. You're actually supposed to pay me, but you've not paid me. Your cash flow is intact. ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು ನನ್ನಿಂದ ದುಡ್ಡಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ and that money is growing, but you're not paying me. Once you pay me, it's a negative impact on your cash flow. Positive ಅಂತೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, negative impact on your cash flow. Once you don't pay me and hold the money with you, it's as good as a plus with your cash flow because outflow ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಕೂತಿದೆ ಹಂಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ವೈ ವಿ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ವೇಜ್ ಪೇಬಲ್. ನೀವೇನಾರ ಇದ್ದು ಸಹ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಸೈನ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಸೇವ್ಡ್ ಮನಿ ದೇರ್. ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು. Holding with you is as good as no outflow. So it's like, I won't say it's not correct on my part to say it's an inflow, but it's like holding the money is keeping the cash flow intact. That's why I do a plus. How about others? Now better? Maybe. Okay, great. Similarly, increase in interest payable. I've taken a bank loan. ಆಯ್ತಾ? Say 1 lakh or let's say 10 lakhs. Even if it's wrong, don't bother. 10% interest I have to pay. Okay, if it's a 10% interest every year, I have to pay 10,000, 10,000, 1 lakh rupees as my interest for the year. I did not pay. Last year is there, year is there. So it's just piling up. So I don't have space here, I'm coming here. So my opening balance was 1 lakh, interest on loan. Okay, closing balance is 2 lakhs. What does this mean? I
Increase
had to pay to the bank, I did not pay.
that has been increased.
That's going on increasing my cash balance. But tell me it's direct, don't look at anything else. Tell me its impact on the cash flow. No cash outflow only. ಹಂಗೆ ಕೂತಿದೆ intact ಆಗಿ. So it is as good as you write the difference in a positive sign in the cash flow statement. You see interest and interest payable 1250 positive ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Wherever I have written outflow of cash ಅದನ್ನ ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? Were you there when I was discussing outflow? I think I told you were there, no, when I was talking about creditors. Creditors ಅಂದ್ರೆ opening balance is 25,000, closing balance is 15,000. ಅದರ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನು ಬಂತು? 10,000 I have paid ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ? That is outflow of cash. So outflow of cash will come in negative sign. Where I have not paid and held my cash, ಅದು positive sign ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Clear now? ಇಷ್ಟ ಅರ್ಥ ಆದರೆ then great. So this is what we do for all the ಏನೇನು current assets, current liabilities ಇದೆಯೋ balance sheet ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ compare ಮಾಡಿ we write here, and from there we get cash flow from operating activity. So this comes my operating activity cash flow. Okay, investing activity. My activity of purchasing a building is investing activity. My job is not buying and purchasing of building. Okay, so therefore if I have purchased, don't you think it's my cash outflow? So it's a negative sign. Okay, and then if I have financing activity, financing I told you, anything I have taken money from someone, loan ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Like dividend is one such. Preference shareholders ಗೆ ನಾನು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ತಾನೆ. You are my preference shareholder. Okay, I have taken 20 lakhs from you. 20 lakhs ಕೊಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕೂತ್ಕೋತೀರಾ? Every year you will come and demand ನಮ್ಗೆ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಕೊಡಿ. Dividend is as good as interest that I say I have to pay on a loan. Dividend ಅದೇ nature ಇದೆ. That's why remember, payment of dividend will come under finance activity. People get confused. Dividend ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ? ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತಾ ಅಥವಾ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ನಾಟಕ ಇರಲಿ, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ಡ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್. And it's just the terminologies. Now, okay, you are a banker. I come to you to ask loan. You will say, okay, you sanction my loan. Every year or every month, whatever, depending upon our agreement, you tell interest katti loan. Aita? This is what is called as, for all the loan I pay interest to you. Agree with me? That is one aspect. Second aspect is what? Shareholders. If you are a company, say you are Reliance Industries, you are issuing shares to all of us, shareholders. Shareholders ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಕೊಡಲೇಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲಾಜಿಕಲ್, ನೋ? Any investment you do somewhere, why will somebody give you money free of cost? Even a friend comes and gives you money, you will expect the money in return, no? Of course, you might not expect any income other than that. But in the business world or in the practical world, if you take money from someone, they expect interest on that money. It's as good as an opportunity to increase my money. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಯಾರು ದುಡ್ಡು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಏನೋ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓ, ನಾನು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಇವ್ರು ನನಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡೋದು. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಸೊ ಅದು ದಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಯು ಟಾಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್, ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಬಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್, they can't say give me interest, they will say give me dividend. Huh?
percentage for that amount what they have issued.
That is dividend. It's just the terminology difference. ಯಾಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಆದರೆ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟೋರು ರಿಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಡು ದೇ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕಂಪನಿ? That's why the terminology that we use is interest ಇವರಿಗೆ, and shareholders day we use the term dividend. But actually speaking, more or less ಎರಡು ಒಂದೇನೆ. It's basically a return on the investment that they are given to you. If I'm a banker and I give loan to Reliance Industries, ನೀವು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕಟ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಐ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅ ರಿಲಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ, ನೀವು ನಂಗೆ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಹಾ,
Partner.
ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್?
Partnership. Like this.
How did you compare this to partnership?
Not like if you give the money to that company, right?
Hmm.
You get the money to company.
Which company?
Yes.
X company. You are giving money to X company.
Yeah.
Okay.
I issued 20 lakhs.
Hmm.
And in return, I will be asking some percentage from that company profit.
Hmm.
That's the
That's the.
that one. That's our profit.
You are asking a share in their profit. Okay. Correct. Then. So what is your doubt? ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅಂತಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ಸಿ, ನೀವೇನು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್ ಸೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಲೈಕ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್, ದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಈಗ ಇಫ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಸ್ವಿಗ್ಗಿ ಆರ್ ಅ ಝೊಮ್ಯಾಟೊ, okay, for them where are they getting this much money to do business andre? First they got investors on board. Investors means people who have, they are filthy rich. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೇನು ಕೆಲಸ ಇಲ್ಲ, ದುಡ್ಡು ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಕೂತಿದೆ, ಕೂತಲ್ಲೇ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಆ ಥರದ ಜನನೂ ಇದೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಡೂ, ದೇ ಫೈಂಡ್ ಸಚ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮನಿ ಇನ್ ದೆಮ್, ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್ ನನಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಕೊಡಿ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ನಾವು ಡಿಮಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅವರಿಂದ, ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ದೇರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದೇರ್ ಪ್ರಮೋಟರ್ಸ್. We are only interested in return from that company. Who are partners? Who join together, do business together, they work together and then earn the money and profit. The people who only invest money and take return, they are called as investors. Now what you are telling me an example, you have just given 20 lakhs to X. Are you interested in how X is doing the business? You are not interested. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆನೂ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ. ಯುವರ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ದುಡ್ಡಿಗೆ ಅವ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ನನಗೆ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸೊ ಯು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಅನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟರ್. ವಾಟ್ ಮೈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್? ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೋ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್, ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಯು, ಐ ವುಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕ್ ವಿತ್ ಯು, let's become partners, let's do things together, then you are getting into a partnership with X. It is different what you are saying versus what I said right now, that the objective with which you ask return from X, that is investment. So here also we are talking about investing activity only. What my point? So coming back to your doubt as to what is the difference between an interest and a dividend. Interest, when I'm giving or when I'm giving a loan, my idea is to do business. I'm a banker, I'm doing my business, that's my everyday operating activity. I have to find clients, I have to push loans. Whereas investment, it is like, that's not my daily activity. I want to earn more, so I'm investing with one person ashte. That's not my operating activity. I only want to multiply my money. That becomes my investing activity. Okay, na? Next, okay, what I was trying to tell you here is point to remember, PTR. If you receive dividend, okay, I repeat, if you receive dividend, that will go under investing activity. If you pay dividend, that will come to financing activity. Why? Don't nod. I want you to understand why.
They are receiving amount is coming to us.
Correct.
So we are it's
Investment.
inflow of cash.
Inflow ಸರಿ, ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಕೇರ್ಫುಲ್. ಇನ್ಫ್ಲೋ ಹೌದು, ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರೋದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಐ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಎನ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ರಿಟರ್ನ್
ಹಾ.
ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಗೋ ಅಂಡರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ. ಅದೇ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಪೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್, paying dividend, I am paying dividend on my shareholders. Shareholders ಇಂದ ನಾನು ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. So isn't it my financing activity? Money that I have taken from my shareholders. So that's why payment of dividend is coming under financing activity. Receive of dividend is coming under investing activity. If that correct. Because students ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎರಡನ್ನೂ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, which is a mistake. Receipt of dividend is always an investing activity. Payment of dividend is always a financing activity. Issuance of stock andre issue of shares. Issue of shares is your financing activity. ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲಾರ ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಸ್ಕೋತಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಲೋನ್ ರೀಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಯು ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿ ಲೋನ್, ಯು ಆರ್ ರೀಪೇಯಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿ ಲೋನ್, that comes under financing activity. Even if you are issuing shares, is as good as you are taking money from someone indirectly. I am issuing shares with you. Why? Because I want money from you. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ದುಡ್ಡು ಇಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಡೋದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಇನ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಲೋನ್, that will come under financing activity. Ultimately ನಮಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಈ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸು, that should match with my cash balance in the balance sheet. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲೇ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆರ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ವೈ? ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ P&L and your end object is your cash balance in the balance sheet. ಏನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿವನ್? ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್? No doubts? You want to take another round? Another round and come. Ma'am, could you explain decrease in supplies? No, catch hold of me where I left something. Unearned revenue ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ? ಏನೋ ಒಂದೆರಡು, ಎಸ್ ಒಂದು ಬಿಟ್ಟರು ಅದನ್ನ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊತಿರಲ್ಲ ನೀವು. ನೋ ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಮನೀಶ್, ನಾನು ಏನಂದಿದೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈಸ್? ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್? ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಇನ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಸಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ. ವಾಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈಸ್? Manish, the question is for you. What is supply? What are supplies? Current asset. Are you sure? You mean stock? Okay. Still, Papa, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬುಕ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಿಮಗೆ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಯು. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರಾ? ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲೆವರ್, ತುಂಬ ಜಾಣರು ನೀವು. ಸರಿ ಬಿಡಿ, ಬರೀ ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು, ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅದು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಅಂತ. ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು? ಸರಿ, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಅಂತಾನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಓಕೆನಾ? ಅವರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್. ಸರಿ, ಈಗ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇದೇ ಥರನೇ 50,000 ಆಯ್ತಾ. ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ 30,000. ಏನಾಯ್ತಪ್ಪ? ಡಿಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಇನ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್. Decrease in stock means what? Don't you think decrease in stock means I have sold my goods? Yes or no? Okay. I am an ice cream parlor. Okay. I have iBaco ice creams. So I have, say, 10 varieties of ice creams with me. So opening stock of ice cream is 10 variety. When I am closing my books of accounts, it's come to 4 varieties because 6 varieties are sold. Think from the point of view of cash flow. Four varieties is remaining. 6 variety I have sold means, don't you think for that 6 variety I have received money as sales? Yes or no? Adikke illi decrease in supply is a positive number. Should I repeat? The repeat. Repeat ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. Let me check what is the status or hal. Understood, ma'am. We are selling it, ma'am. Yes, perfect. We are selling it. If we are selling it, we are making money, and that's why you have a positive number there. Okay? Fine. Supplies are not creditors, my dear. Suppliers are your creditors. This is supplies. Only that S is S and R ka farak. There's no other difference there. So be careful in reading the question also. Okay?
But
Huh?
doing that patient.
I can't write in that page. ಅದಾಗಿರೋದು ನನಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಪೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬರೀತಿದ್ದೆ ದಟ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರೈಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಂಡೋ ನಾನು ಆ ವಿಂಡೋ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಸಿ ಐಮ್ ಟ್ರೈಂಗ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಮೂವ್ ಐ ಕಾಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಶಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಟ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಡನ್ ಸೊ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಯುವರ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿ 1 hour ಐ ಗೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗೋ ಗೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಗೋ ನಾನೇ ಕಳಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ 3:30 to 4:30 ಆಯಿತು 1 hour you get up and roam no in your college that was your pre-requirement no yesterday go go walk around and come back jao 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 meanwhile we are doing some chotu motu which you will get it later don't worry. Go 5 minutes only no go. But shut the door fully. Next, we are talking about articulation of the financial statements. What does it mean? Each financial statement demonstrates a relationship with the balance sheet. Articulation andre ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಾ? You're trying to analyze. I think in the first class only I told my friends, your job, you are not an accountant. CMA is not a course as an accountant. Okay? Your job more here as a CMA is to analyze your financial statements. So it becomes even more important for you guys to understand the basics of all this much better. I would still say okay to my ACCA friends because more of accounts profile also come to their ACCA job profiles. Okay, but for CMAs, you don't get accountant job profiles. You are more like an analyst. Analyst is who analyzes financial statements. If you don't know to read financial statements, then it's of no use of calling yourself as an analyst. That's why the basics becomes even more important for you to understand better, which will help you guys to analyze it. By hearting journal entry, understanding everything by hearting, definitely not the way for an analyst to work. Okay, that's why read and ask me where you don't understand. Definitely no, I will not encourage you to by heart in accounts. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ ಓಕೆ ಬಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ನೌ ಆನ್ ನೋ ಬೈ ಹಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಐ ನೌ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯು ಟು ಕಮ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಪ್ರೋಚ್ ಟು ಮೀ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೆಲ್ ಮಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಂಗೆ ಇದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೇನ್ because if you start understanding accounts like that, not just accounts, my subjects is financial reporting, not just FR, every other subject, your approach should change now. You're a professional course students. Professional courses are what they expect your understanding level, and it is not like you can by heart and go right there. In life, situations don't repeat. Every situation gives you a new life experience for you to act accordingly. Do you get up today morning thinking that okay, nenne ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು ಇವತ್ತು ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ? No. Life is like that. Okay. Your professional course will throw a lot of challenges on you, and you better be mentally prepared for those challenges because it is not going to be a book approach. Book ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಿದೆಯೋ ಅದೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. No. So even if I give you formats, even if I say read this is sufficient, be prepared for something else coming in your question papers. That's how professional courses are. Okay, and that's why your basic foundations are so important. You have to understand each and every word clearly there. Don't think I will read few question papers and go and okay I'll pass. You might pass, but How well can you go to a company and work? Tomorrow, when you go to a company, they will throw questions what you see practically there. Will you be in a position to answer them? That's how you have to start training yourself. Exam is not from the books, it's from the practical world. So start getting familiarized to your practical world. Start, matching everything to your practical world. You will start getting what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now if I tell you how do I demonstrate the relationship between a financial statement and a balance sheet? The beginning balances of a balance sheet from the previous period increase and decrease as a result of the business transaction. So every time when we open a balance sheet, we have an opening balance, we have a closing balance. What are those? They are just the result of the different transactions which are happening in the business. That's the meaning. Okay. These transactions are recorded and reported by the accounting system and result in recognition of assets liability. All these you know. The board of directors will analyze you guys will work below the board of directors. CMAs are generally for the board of directors. Now, if board of directors have to analyze, you will give them reports. That reports will be prepared by you guys, CMAs. Okay. So if board of directors have to analyze the reported income and assess whether any dividends will be declared by the company, so that you are going to help them. How you are going to analyze? See, board of directors have to decide. Suppose a situation is like this. They want to decide this year should I pay dividend or not. They'll come and ask you, tell me how the financial position is or how the cash position is of the business, whether should I issue dividends or not. How will you help your board of directors to come to a decision? So that's when you prepare a report in such a way that you tell them that look, the profit of the last few years is like this, my retained earning position is this, my cash flow position is this. So you have to give them a thorough report which will give them the complete idea whether I should give dividend or not for this year. That's the meaning. Okay. Then moving ahead, statement of cash flow reconciles change in the cash during the year and reverses the effect of accrual accounting. What is accrual accounting? Accrual accounting means that only all your provisions, all your depreciation, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರೋದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಅಕ್ರೂವಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಕೌಂಟಿಂಗ್. ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದಾನೇ ಯು ಸಿ ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನಾವು ಡೆಬಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಫಾರ್ ವಿಚ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಟು ಅಕ್ರೂವಲ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ವೆನ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯು ಸಿ ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಆಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. Okay, and thereby that will help me to analyze the source and then how to use the cash. That is the meaning. Now let's come down and they have given you a picture of how these statements are interlinked to each other, relationship between the different income statements. I think some you already know. That is, if I have, so to start off with the first one, which is my income statement or what we popularly call as the P&L account, what happens to the net income? Net income or what we call as the profit will go where? Of course, first it will enter my statement of retained earnings for sure. Retained earning, nothing but my reserves and surplus. I told you retained earning is a place where I store all the past year's profit. ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬಂದು ರಿಟೈನ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಅದು ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ? ಇಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಗೋಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್. ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇದೆ, ರಿಸರ್ವ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸರ್ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗೇ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಅದ್ರ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ನಾವು ಪಿ ಎನ್ ಎಲ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಜನರಲ್ ರಿಸರ್ವ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಅದೇ ತರಾನು ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಯೋರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್. ರಿಟೈನ್ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯು ನೋ profit goes to two such places. Next, retain earning balance ನಮಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಇಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. that you know already. ಇನ್ನೇನು, cash balance will come from the cash flow statement. Whatever cash flow statement we have, that we get from the last year's balance sheet. At the same time we do all the working and we get the closing balance of the cash. Basically, all these statements are interconnected. Ashte. What I was telling andre, we prepare P&L, we prepare balance sheet, we also prepare something called as cash flow statement. Alva? How these are interconnected ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. You see here what they are saying. Profit is 95.5. It is coming and sitting here in my retained earnings. Retained earnings is like my reserves and surplus or general reserve or P&L, whatever we use the term. ಆ ಥರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಕರೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಏನೇ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಬ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, and what I have is my closing balance of reserves and surplus or retained earnings, whatever I want to call it. Then this balance will go to my balance sheet. Alva? Then similarly, retained earnings will also, opening balance of retained earning ನನಗೆ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಇಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಥಿಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಇದೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಜಸ್ಟ್ reconfirmation of how to solve questions. And then of course cash flow statement ಹೆಂಗೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮಗೆ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಇಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲೋಸಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ನಮಗೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಟಿ.ಬಿ ಇಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಫ್ಲೋ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ತಪ್ಪು. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಲಿಂಕ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಶಾಲ್ ವಿ ಸಾಲ್ವ್ ಸಮ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್? ಬುಕ್, ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್, ಪೆನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಡಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಮೀನ್ ವೈಲ್ ಇವ್ರುಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. ಡು ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಡೌಟ್ ಸೋ ಫಾರ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಇನ್ ಟು ಸಮ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಡೇ? ಇಲ್ಲ, I have. I can give. You have any doubts? You can tell me your doubts. Rima, let me give my calcium. Students get teacher ಕೊಡಬೇಕು calcium. ಯಾವ ಕಾಲ ಬಂದಿದೆ? Can't you carry calcium? You're coming to which class? CMA class. You think it is a theory class? Yes, no doubts. Are you all sleeping? You don't sleep, that's why I'm making you roam around. Because having one student in front of me and sleeping, that's the worst thing to happen. Instead, I'll be like talking to myself. That is much better than having someone sleep in front of me. Okay, great. Fine, let's solve question number 1 then, if there are no doubts. Okay. You're going to tell me what is the operating income of US Industries. You have service revenue, you have administrative expense, you have loss on sale of investment, you have interest expense, you have interest income, then you have cost of service. Tell me the operating income. ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಅರೆ ಇದೇನಾಯ್ತು? Yes. Start. Huh? Operating income ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Income from my business, purely my income business I'm asking. Okay. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ. ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾನು ಏನು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರೋ ರೆವೆನ್ಯೂ, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ $8 lakh. When I use the word administrative expense, it again means I'm running the business. Then administrative ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? If I have to take the example of Success Edge Academy, what are my administrative expense? Electricity, the internet, data charges, my receptionist, if any, my office boy, my staff, all these are my administrative expenses. So this is very much part of my business expense, alva barutte. Loss on sale of investment, does this come in my business activity? Answer is big no. It's my investing activity, alva, so it can't be my operating income. Correct? Interest expense. Now, I always get this thing, interest expense can be interest on loan also, which you have taken for business. But most of the time, if the question is silent, Take it as an investment activities expenditure. Interest or financing activity. Remember interest, finance, loan tagondre, interest pay ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So interest income and interest expense should be your financing activities expense and income. ಆಯ್ತಾ? Now they are asking you calculate operating income for Lewis Industries. So you are going to give me only the income part, which is the business, my main business. Other the income, expense. ತೆಗೆದು you have to tell me ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಈಗ try ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿ. Okay, I already got one answer.
ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ
ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ನನ್ನ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಅದು. ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ನನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. If I am what, think of one service, what service? If Success Edge Academy ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಬರೆಯೋಕ್ಕಾಗದೆ. Success Edge Academy has to render services to students. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು? ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ವಿ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಟೀಚ್, ನಮಗೆ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಏನು? ಅದು ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಆಗೋಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ರೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಈ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗಿಗೆ, ಆಯ್ತಾ, ವಾಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಫ್, ರಿಸೆಪ್ಷನಿಸ್ಟ್, ಅವ್ರುಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಬಂದು ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಅಂಡರ್ ವಾಟ್? ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್. ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸ್? ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸೇ ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಫ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಟಿ ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ ಎಜ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸೇ ನಡೆಯಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ದಿನ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳು ರೆಂಟ್ ಕಟ್ಟಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ and he will allow the building, but faculty ಬಂದು ಓಕೆ ಈ ಪ್ರಿಮೈಸಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದ್ರೂ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, facility from home also, online class conduct ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. For them, what is the direct cost then? Direct cost is the faculty cost. Indirect cost of the other reception, rent expenditure, lighting, electricity, data charges, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೂ ನಡೆದೋಗುತ್ತೆ, because they are all their indirect cost. Now this is your direct cost, 3,10,000. Yes, administrative is my indirect cost alva. ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ, these three will I add or